Like, I called Rebecca into the office last night and was like, look at this stupid card that I've owned since 1998 that I've never done anything with except like use it to keep a table from wobbling. Yep. And now it's spiked up, like doubled in price because it combos with this stupid card here that like I already like doing the things that this wants. Combo, mill, bullshit. And she was like, what? Yeah, you're a nerd. I'm just going to...
Yeah, I'm going to leave the room. Yeah. Why did you make me come in here?
Yeah, and I had a gay old time.
Hey, listen, Cookout Podcast, episode 458. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and we're going to finish off talking about the... Oh, man, I could feel just a turd coming towards the back of my brain. Isn't it? Oh, fuck. Okay, let me try again.
We thought as much.
No, that's it. We're playing that one. That's it. Hey, listen, Cookout Podcast, episode 458. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and we're going to finish us talking about Duskmourn legendary creatures by talking about the Commander decks. Now, hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What is going down?
Whole bunch is going down since yesterday. We have moved forward in time. Chronologically, a shorter time for us than for you, the viewer. We have some stories to tell, some decks to talk about, some people to thank before we get to any of that. We have to acknowledge our official business daddies, FusionGamingOnline.com. They are your source for all your gaming needs. And Pile of Bones Brewing Co. They are the second coolest thing to come out of Regina and the official beer sponsor for CCO Sidewalk Slam Season 2. Right here on YouTube.
That's it. You'd see our promo code CCO Summer on the beautiful Damn Studio set. Big thanks to producer Gary and producer Valor in there today. Big thanks to Fusion for the promo code. If you want to get a discount on any of your stuff, of course, CCO Summer. You'd see it on the screen there if you're watching on YouTube.
Which you should be.
Big thanks to editor Joe as well, working overtime, burning the candle out of both ends. From both ends.
Is there ever a reason to do that?
Well, if you're editor Joe and you're into that.
Well, like if you had a candle and what do you have to do? You'd have to like kind of scrape all the wax off of one end to make the wick poke out the bottom. And then like...
Oh, editor Joe's wick pokes out the bottom already.
Does it give you double the light?
Yes.
Does it give you double the heat? Does the light globe that the candle creates, is it now twice the size?
I would assume.
Or is it now oblong shaped?
Also, yes.
And it just extends out to the side a little bit.
Brandology, everybody. That's why we pay them the big bucks.
That's right. Asking the real hard questions. You know, I'll bet you there's somebody out there that actually knows
the
real
math
answer to that
how
question.
Far does the light penetrate into the darkness?
And if you
and is it in a vacuum or not? Well, fire can't burn in a vacuum, I guess, because it needs air.
Yeah, it literally can't do. What the hell is that dog doing? We
picked up a kid. We picked up a dog.
Man,
we've got a Pile of Bones. Our stunt beers. This is the lime hibiscus. Very good.
I got the chocolate stout.
Uncle Brando's favorite.
What exists on the earth right now is all that will ever exist on the earth.
That's it. So
if you
we're saving that one.
Get it.
Maybe we'll drink that as a celebration one day
because it's really good. We were there a couple of weeks ago. It was really good.
Oh, yeah. So fun. Stuff. Have we said thank you to Pile of Bones yet? Because they hosted us. It was a fantastic night. I had nachos. You had something that probably took you 4 hours to eat. We both enjoyed ourselves.
It was just like when we were in Vancouver and I ate that same burger for like an hour for the exact same reason, because the burger was so flippin' good and I didn't want to not have the burger anymore. So I just ate it really slow so that I could keep eating the burger.
I've got the opposite. I've got the opposite philosophy covered. If it's good, I want to put as much of it inside my body as soon as possible.
Oh, see, I like
that works too.
Hey,
we can get into an argument on the internet and still be friends.
What?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the Duskmourn House of Horror Precons today. We do disagree on some parts of it, but we will still be friends. Before we get to it, don't forget this weekend, Command Fest Toronto. If you're a Torontonian or a greater Torontonian, like if you're in the greater Toronto area, or if you're anywhere in Ontario, anywhere in Montreal or Quebec or whatever, come on, CCO code when you buy your Command Fest package, going to get you a discount and a free gift from your good friend Ryan. So come on down. We've got CCO Experience Calgary coming up in November.
Sure do.
Get on to the Patreon page, patreon.com/CCO Podcast for that, because man, that is going to be a fun one. I told my cousin about it and she's like, oh my God, you guys are actually doing like a full experience here.
Is she going to stay on the host list?
Most likely not. I'm just going to tell her, you know what? Nerds only. Nerds only. And she might be in Mexico.
Ariba.
Oh, that's a Mexican thing?
I think so. That's
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Here
Okay.
it says, yeah.
That's it. So again, Patreon supporters, you're going to get an invite. If you're in the Discord and you want to help be part of like the planning team, we've got some chefs. We've got people bringing like some pretty nifty and exclusive and expensive booster packs for Open Flippy. We are quite intimately familiar with Calgary, so we kind of know our way around, and a bunch of the CCO Dude Bros that are coming are going to have vehicles. Yeah. So it's going to be easier for us to get around than to have to rely on people like that we usually have to rely on people to like bring cars or be chauffeurs or whatever.
Yeah.
We are going to have a lot of the supplies ourselves. So it's going to be a lot easier, which makes it a lot smoother and more fun at the experience.
And I'm looking forward to like kind of being like, we're always kind of the host of the event, but it's going to be kind of fun to be like the host in a city that we know.
Yeah.
So we can show you guys a good time in the same way that the nation has shown us over the last few years. We've been
in
doing
the
this.
cities that you guys are from.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
The tables have turned.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So with all that being said, we have in front of us the legendary Creech from the Duskmourn Precons. Now, we have 8 of them, kind of like the main one and then the backup one.
Yes.
And I think the main ones are three colors? No, because
they're
one of
all-
them, they're 2 or 3 colors. And we're just going to go through them. We're going to take a quick look at the Precon. I have some questions about, again, that modern horror genre that Duskmourn is kind of plugging the hole of. Don't Google that. Yeah. And I want to pick your brain.
And I'm not seeing them. Like, remember we talked on this overall set review. I'll just answer your question now.
Sure.
We talked about how, like I said, this set hits it so hard on the head. Here are the tropes.
Annabelle and Jason and Freddy Krueger and Saw, like Innistraw did with the classic horror, like werewolves and vampires and Jekyll and Hyde, for example.
I commented that maybe it might even be a little bit too on the nose. And these commander decks are kind of, in my view, the opposite, where they're just commander decks.
Oh.
They're just commander decks.
Do you see in the abilities or the arts of any of them, even if it's not a movie, do you see something like the weird house that's got all the different doors and stairs and like the eyes in the picture that move like on Scooby-Doo, right? Like, do you see that kind of stuff on any of this?
Oh, absolutely. That is all. The aesthetic is there.
Okay.
But like the specific tropiness that just permeates the whole set, not really present here, in my opinion.
Okay.
Which I think hurts some of these decks, because I think, and again, top-down view, I think these decks are a little generic. And when they don't have the flavor that permeates the set, I think that they were really relying on the archenemy gimmick to really sell this set.
Oh, I was going to ask you about the archenemy.
And it doesn't, boy, because archenemy, in my opinion, I think archenemy is a trash format, and I'll never play it.
I tend to agree.
I will never play archenemy again. I do not like it, no matter which side I'm on. It's frustrating for the 1 against the 3 because you always lose. And the cards that they're printing in these sets aren't good enough to help you beat 3 actual commander decks.
I'll decode that. These 4 precons are balanced for gameplay against each other, as they always are now when you get 4 precons.
Yep.
There is not one that is distinctly stronger that is always supposed to be the archenemy.
Correct.
So when you do archenemy, that one always loses?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And then if you try it with like your actual tuned decks and just with the archenemy decks, that's even more apparent because, like, your decks are tuned to beat 3 other people. And when you only have to beat 1 and you have help, like,
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
see,
I
right?
never thought of it that way. It's funny that plane chase is so beloved, and you and I love it, and the way
Yeah.
that we do it is so unique and fun for everybody that we kind of meet and introduce to that format. And Arch Enemy is just sucky.
Yeah, if I could get the old Arch Enemy cards and like mix them with these ones, I would actually, or maybe if you have them, you could let us know. How many Arch Enemy cards do you actively have to be able to play during a turn to actually make you a threat to 3 other players?
Let us know in the comments, I
Let
guess.
us know. Yeah, if you've done it or you've ever tried it. Like, we made Plane Chase better by changing the format so that we like it better. Maybe people have done that with Arch Enemy.
Let us know if you need a refresher on our way to play Plane Chase. We've done episodes on it in the past, but it might be good to do a modern take on it.
Yeah.
So let's look at the first commander.
Let's do it.
Winter Cynical Opportunist.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. This is a 2/5 human warlock for green, black, 2 with Death Touch. When Winter attacks, mill 3 cards.
Cool.
Okay, so it's doing Golgari stuff already. Death Touch and mill. It's got Delirium. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile any number of cards from your graveyard with 4 or more card types among them. So 4 different card types. If you do, put a permanent card from among them onto the battlefield with a finality counter on it. So each turn, I'm going to maybe mill card types.
Sure.
And then I'm going to probably reanimate one of them. I'm probably going to have to supplement that self-mill, and we're going to see some of that in the Precon.
Yeah.
But this guy isn't speaking to me with a whole bunch of authority or power.
No, he's... And you have to do Delirium over and over again. We talked yesterday. I don't really like Delirium because it's like a weird hoop. And it's kind of a luck-based hoop, too, because you got to mill into certain types of cards at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, there is... The deck building cost of Delirium is certainly there. Mostly we can get around it, especially if we're smart with our Scryfall searches and we search for like artifact land, right?
Yeah.
Or artifact creature or enchantment creature. And we can find all of these different card types.
Yes.
That's a deck building cost though. And maybe we make some concessions if we find that if we're tooking and tweaking and tweening this deck, we find that it starts to work worse, which I think would happen if we did that.
Yeah. So I think that Winter Cynical Opportunist, especially as the face commander of this deck, is just... if you're going to do Dredge, which kind of he's sort of begging to do,
Okay, yeah.
play the Necrobloom. You get an extra color and a deck that's really
good.
fucking good.
Thanks to Uncle Brando and producer Gary not even telling me that my cup was still on the table.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's look at the other commander for this deck because it's actually good.
I really, really like this one.
Okay.
I think this one might actually be my favorite.
Oh, yeah? You want to give him a read? You want me to read him?
I'm
You
going
wanna read
to do
Okay.
it. Rendmaw the Creaking Nest is a 5/5 for 5. Legendary artifact creature Scarecrow. Ooh.
Yeah.
Whenever...
Oh, Menace and Reach.
Menace and Reach.
Yep.
Because he's scary and tall.
Yeah. Yes.
Whenever Rendmaw Creaking Nest enters the battlefield... Wait, what? And whenever you play a card with 2 or more card types.
Yes.
Each player creates a tapped 2/2 black bird creature token with flying. The tokens are goaded for the rest of the game. So here's why I like that. It's a Scarecrow commander that's actually good, so you don't have to play Reaper King, which is really cool. It encourages you to play Scarecrows, which are artifact creatures, because they'll always make a bird.
I didn't think of that, but yes.
Then, because you're playing Scarecrows, you're making crows that are then scared to attack you. Right?
It tells a little story.
So there's a little story in there, and it's got a really cool art on it. I really like that. I'm not sure if I'd build it, because there's not enough really good Scarecrows yet that I'm gonna do it. But man, that's a cool card, and as Scarecrows are printed, boy, this is gonna be a fucking cool deck.
I'll tell you something. There's at least one Scarecrow mana rock, and there are 2 Scarecrows, or a Scarecrow and an equipment that have the untap symbol in them.
Yeah.
And you could play Necrotic Ooze in here, and you could play that new Marvin the Puppet guy in here, and you could have a little bit of a Scarecrow combo deck.
You could.
Where you're also encouraging your opponents to attack each other.
To beat each other up.
And then you're doing your own thing, trying to like wait it out and combo by giving them things to do to each other for free.
Yeah. Or, hear me out, just play Necrobloom. You don't need any of that crap.
Yeah, I guess you could.
And that's kind of I know this does the thing better, but like, I feel like if that's your kind of gimmick or your plan, there's better options, very recently printed better options than these ones. So I think overall, pardon me.
If you burp into that microphone one more time, I swear I am going to fucking put you through this table.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that overall, this deck is just not to the level that I've come to expect of WotC when they're building Commander decks.
I got one even. I'll do you one better.
I think it's just.
I agree, and also I feel that way of the entire Golgari color identity. I don't think it's very good, and I don't like the direction it's been taken in. I think that if you want to do graveyard stuff, just use black and save yourself the money and the mana and the shit that you got to do. I think if you want to make mana, black is fine.
Yeah, black can do it.
And green can do it. And green can mill, and black can mill yourself in both regards. They both can reanimate. But when you put them together, it's like, oh, why do I got to do this thing and jump through this thing and do this other stuff when really all I want to do is make creatures play green. All I want to do is reanimate big guys, play black. Why do I have to like mill 3 cards and just get... I guess it's the dirtily value engine that I just don't like. It's the reason I don't like mono artifact decks. Because it's just like, I'm going to tap this and do this and do this and do this. And oh, okay, at the end of my 8-minute turn, I put 1+1 on my guy, and I'm tapped out, and I milled 2 cards, and go.
Yeah. You feel the same way about Golgari as I do about Izzet. Where they're just kind of...
Is that what that feels like?
Yeah, they're just uninteresting. And I get it. So
Okay.
I think that this deck is a very solid example of that. It's just...
Well,
there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not exciting.
When we look at the deck too, and again, not a knock on the deck if you like it, but when we look at the deck, when you add up all the value of the cards that are in it, now we're not the command zone and we're not doing an hour and a half breakdown per deck.
No.
It's not what we're doing. This deck's $109.
American. So that's like 300 Canadian.
Yeah. Every other deck is like 150, 130, 140, right? Every other deck is more expensive than this one. And I think a lot of the times that has to do with the power level and diversity of the commander and the decks that they can lead outside of the precon. And also because of the power level of the commander, that makes the precon more powerful.
Yeah.
Right? So let's move on. Let's move on to what do we got here? Do you want to do the Valgavoth deck?
The Endless Punishment. This is WotC tries to do group slug without giving you any of the group slug stuff. I'm going to Brando's hot take number 2.
Here we go.
This is a very badly built deck.
Did anybody hear his shoulder crack when he did that?
That felt great for the record. That felt
happy.
really good. This deck is very, very badly done. And the reason I say that is because I play this deck in mono red in my Torbrand deck. You can check that out on my Architect page.
And we've probably done many mono red decks that you can put your stamp of approval on also.
And what that deck does is it punishes your opponents for doing things because this deck wants your opponents to take damage on their turns. And then it gives you no tools to do that.
Well, let's read the 2 commandees.
It gives you everything that you want to play in Rakdos Lord of Riots, including Rakdos Lord of Riots, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
You know...
You don't want to hurt your opponents in Rakdos. You want to hurt your opponents on your turn to make your stuff cheap.
Yes.
And that's what this deck can do. In Valgavoth, the deck that you just bought at the store and you want to play... You want to hurt them on their turn, and they didn't give you near enough tools to do that.
Okay, I'm going to read them. the full art one that you get with the Precon, I think might be in the running for best art in the set.
Yes.
Very, very cool piece of art there. This would make an excellent big card in Studio CCO at my house.
Yes.
Shout out to anybody who can get me that. 4/4 Elder Demon for red, black, 2, flying, ward, pay 2 life. Sure. That's not even a ward, really. I have lots of life. I don't care. Whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, put a +1 counter on Valgavoth, Harrower of Souls, and draw a card. So when they lose life on their turn, so I would be encouraged to do instant speed damage to them, or pinger damage to make or sulfuric vortex to make them lose 1 life on each of their turns, or there's
mana barbs.
All
the creature, the dinosaur. Whenever a creature comes into play, they take 1. There's so many of those things. They activate a mana or an activated ability that isn't a mana ability. They take 2.
Yep.
All that stuff, and there's barely any of it present here.
There's not even because it's on the reserve list, a Forsaken Wastes, another price spike card. This one, 325% increase in price from $4 up to, at its peak, $26. And it's players can't gain life, enchantment for 3 from Mirage. And it says during each player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life. And if they target this, they lose 5 life.
Neat.
So it caught this card, and what's the other guy's name? Not Valgavoth, the Lord of Pain.
The Lord of Pain, yeah.
Now that's a cool name.
That is a cool.
This guy is this supposed to be the Saw guy?
Mojo.
What's Mojo?
From
that's an
X-Men.
Austin Powers thing.
No, from X-Men. Mojo. He was this guy. He's like this international or intergalactic alien asshole that runs like a play dangerous sports and die for real on TV.
Oh,
That's sort of that's the vibe I'm getting off.
This is giving me like Saw vibes, like Jigsaw vibes. I'll read him, and because he kind of cares about the same thing. He's a 5/5 menace. Opponents can't gain life for 5.
Sure.
Rakdos and 3. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to the chosen player. So if we had both Valgavoth and Lord of Pain out, they cast a spell, somebody takes damage, I draw a card and put a +1 on Valgavoth.
Because they have to take damage. They have to take damage on their turn. So when they play a card, somebody else takes damage, you don't get shit.
Choose another target player. Oh.
Here's what I don't...
I cast a spell on your turn and I choose you.
Yeah.
And then I put a +1 and draw a card and this guy deals damage to you.
There you go.
So I got to have both of those out to do both of those things. I got to spend 9 mana, 2 cards in my deck,
and then play cards from your hand at instant speed. It's a lot of jumping through a lot of hoops. And
I like a lot of the words and the arrangements that they're on these 2 cards. I think that they're good cards.
Yes, but are they? And here's what I don't like about Lord of Pain is it's not a May.
Okay.
And when there's only 2 of you left, and you have to pick somebody that isn't the person that played the spell, what happens when it's just you and me, and you're playing the Lord of Pain?
I love that.
And I time stretch.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Well, if you time stretch, you probably win anyway.
Well, I'm going to win anyway. Or lava. What if I lava axe you?
I take 10.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? In the pre-show, a couple days ago, I said that I like when cards take a known thing and take us in another direction or maybe the opposite direction. You brought up Rakdos, Lord of Riots. I want you to take damage on my turn to make my creatures cost less.
Yeah.
In the same color combination, and maybe with a lot of the same cards, I could do Lord of Pain or Valgavoth, and I care about you taking damage, but on your turn, it's the same thing, but the opposite, and that makes them different decks. So to compare them is like kind of not fair, even though they look the same.
I'm comparing them because the card selections for both the decks are very similar. That's why I'm comparing them.
So like Blood Artist, Blood Seeker, like Aristocrats, and when you play something, you take damage, like a Mayhem Devil and a what's the other one? Harsh Mentor.
Yeah.
Right? Like those cards would maybe be in Rakdos decks. We've got a Rakdos Lord of Riots in this deck.
Yeah.
which, man, you know what I've noticed a lot about these precons?
Tell me.
And maybe, did we say this on the show already, or is it just you and I talking about this off air, is you see like these $100 and some reprint values.
Right.
And it's tied up in a few cards that equal like maybe $40. Yeah. And then because you've got 100 more cards or 96 more cards that are all between 20 and 70 cents, it's like, oh, wow, the deck is $142 of value. Like I'm going to trade in every single basic land and actually get money for it. Like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, that's not how you do it. The value for your money is in the playability of the deck. And that's what I've been saying. I feel like these are kind of lacking. I really do. I'm not saying they're not worth it to buy. This is a very novel idea for a deck. Ryan is right. But out of the box, it doesn't do the thing that it says it does.
Bro, they got Massacre Girl, Massacre Worm. They got some hitters like Feed the Swarm, Bedevil, Blood Pact. No, that's not... what am I thinking of? Grave Pact.
Yeah.
That card's good.
That's a good card.
Yeah. They've got some good cards in here.
There's some good stuff, right? Like it's there. It just it doesn't... When you read the front of the box and it says Endless Punishment, it doesn't do a lot of punishing. This isn't a Punisher deck. It's just a Rakdos deck.
Maybe with some tweaks it would be, right? Like,
absolutely. You could build this, now that there's a commander to do, like, I'm going to do damage to you on your turn, and I'm going to get value for it. Now that there's commanders to do that, you and I, or you out there, can do it, right? You could totally build these decks, but WotC didn't do that for you.
I want to try and find something that we can say about these that's positive.
And we will.
And maybe the only thing so far is
that Scarecrow guy's awesome.
If you buy all 4 of them, they will be balanced to play together.
Sure.
And a lot of the times I've found at our LGS, people do buy all 4 of them.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
So I guess if you're planning to pick up precons, maybe you say like, oh, I'm not going to buy my booster box of play boosters and 1 precon. Maybe I buy all 4 precons and play them together on game night.
Yeah.
And then I just buy singles from Fusion for the rest of what I want to own from the set instead of trying to crack them from packs.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that's the solution.
And for the record also, we're not going to go into individual cards because we don't have time for all of that stuff. But the new cards that have been printed in these precons, there's 10 per deck.
Mm-hmm. Besides the archenemy schemes or whatever they're called.
Yeah, there are actually some pretty cool ones. There's a rebound creature kill spell.
Yep.
There's one that lets you play cards off the top of your library by paying life.
Some of the door enchantments or room enchantments are only available in the precons.
Yep. And there's some really neat stuff in here. So it's not that they're not valueless. It's not that there's bad cards or they're bad decks. I just think that they've set a certain bar, a certain standard, a certain expectation, and they didn't meet it this time. They just didn't.
Yes, and you have to not compare these precons to the Modern Horizons 3 precons. Yeah, you can't do that. That's not what we're doing.
No, not at all.
Slight correction. Precon exclusive rares can be got in collector boosters, right? Yes. Okay, so we could get them in the $350 product instead of buying all of the precons for $250 because excitement.
Yes, if you want to have less excitement but all the cards, you could certainly buy the decks.
Yeah, and that's fine. We've talked about that, especially like with Doctor Who when every single card in the entire set was in the precons.
Just buy them and get them and you have them, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Next up. This is my least favorite of all of them.
Man, I thought we hit your least favorite already. Nope. We're going deeper?
This is the one. This is the one that scrapes the bottom of the shitty bucket. This deck sucks.
Oh, yeah. This is another Zamone one with the prime numbers and stuff, right?
She can take a long walk up a short hill and just roll down the other side into a bear trap, man. Like this.
I will read her just in case.
Okay.
Human Wizard, blue, green, 2/3/3 with landfall. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, neat.
Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, manifest dread. That is mill 2, put 1 into your graveyard, manifest the other one. Okay? It's a 2/2 face down creature that can be turned face up for its mana cost if it's a creature.
Correct.
Okay. If it's the first time a land entered this turn, that's what you do.
Yeah, triggers once a turn.
Yeah. Otherwise, you may turn a permanent you control face up.
Cool. Awesome.
So landfall, manifest a guy face down or turn something face up. Morph it, I guess, right?
Radical, guys. Woo.
This, okay.
I'm so excited to see another morph deck.
Can I have like the Lucas of warm takes? Like this is sorry, I'm not talking into the mic. This is like a day old coffee temperature.
Okay. It's like that pizza we ate earlier.
This is a lead singer commander, front of the commander Precon deck box for Duskmourn House of Horror.
Yeah.
That goes in the 99 of your 15-year-old morph deck.
Yeah.
God dang.
It's
Not good.
No, that's not a no.
Landfall morph, though, that's pretty good.
No.
Landfall, if this is in the 99 of my morph deck, and I can go like landfall morph and give all your, like, do the thing that my, and some of the best morph cards came out in like Onslaught. Like, if I can morph bounce your guy, or if I can morph put a permanent onto the battlefield, if I can morph give something protection, then attack with, like, there are reasons to landfall and free morph your guys.
Of course.
Like, that's good, and this ought to go in the 99 of your morph decks. But
keeping in mind, you have to have 2 lands come into play before you can do that. It's not one or the other. The first one you manifest dread, then you have to have another land come into play in order to morph something.
ooh, this got way worse.
Of course it did, because this is a bad card in a bad deck. Let's read the other one, because it's even worse.
It's worse?
Yes. It's even less exciting. We saved the best one for last, for the record.
Kiani, Corrupted Memory. A 2/2 for 4. We're starting out strong.
Yeah.
Illusion. It's blue, green, 2. As long as Kiani? Kiani? Sure. Power is even. If, okay. As long as Kiani's power is even, you may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. So natively, it's a flash enabler for my spells.
Sure.
As long as Kiani's power is odd, you can cast creatures as though they had flash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. Whenever you draw a card, oh, there's the Simic bullshit, put a +1 counter on it.
Sure.
Is there room for more bullshit in Simic bullshit? I suppose there always is.
There could be. Pretty soon the whole deck will be so much bullshit you won't even know what you're doing. People will jam so much bullshit into their deck they won't even do anything. They'll just have a bunch of 2/2s for fucking 4 that draws them 5 cards. That's what they'll have.
Oh yeah, 2/2s for 4, hey?
Like, who even... Why is this a legendary creature?
I don't know.
Why is this a fancy card in a commander? This is so not good. And when you look at the deck list, like, it's not exciting. There's not a ton of amazing creatures you're gonna flip over.
We got a Shigeki. That's a powerful card. We've got an Augur of Autumn. That's powerful. There's powerful cards in here. We got a Scoot Swarm. That's a good card. There's good cards in here that enable landfall.
But you know what's better than morphing a Scoot Swarm? Just playing the fucking Scoot Swarm and then playing a land and getting a bug. That's better.
Or getting like 10 lands. Is there any? Hey, there's a World Spine Worm in here. That's a good reprint.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's a Biomass Mutation. You like that card, don't you?
No.
Oh. There's a Rampant Growth in here.
Hell
you like
yeah,
that card,
brother.
Don't you?
That's powerful magic. If there's a Manolith in here, I'd be rock hard, just like Dana Roach.
Yes, very much so. New art for Cackling Counterpart. I know you like that card. Instant Speed Clone Your Guy.
That's a good one.
That's a good one with flashback. But if the most excited we are is about a new art on Cackling Counterpart,
the deck has failed.
I don't think the deck has achieved what it ought to have.
No, this deck sucks. I'm sorry. I'm so unimpressed with every facet of this deck.
Dig Through Time. I play that card.
Azorius Perdition. I play that card. But you know what? It doesn't make the deck good. It makes it kind of not good.
Yeah, well, if you need the experimental lab staff room and you don't want to crack collector boosters, you could always get this Precon.
I don't even know what that card does.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah, we are.
The final one though.
The final one
This
is a
g-
banger. This is a good one, and we were talking about it before we started the show. The Miracle Worker deck,
Yep.
helmed by our girl Amanatu and the crazy ghost lady that we're going to talk about. That's very
Yep.
good. This is a cool deck that brings back a type that I think was one of those unsupported kindred decks, we'll say, right? Like,
Yep.
I want to play the Miracles deck, but, well, there's not very many Miracles. So you have to jam them all to get the flavor in, right?
Yep. And some of them are not things that you'd want a Miracle all the time, because when Miracle was invented, let's say, Commander wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and Terminus is a great card.
Yep.
But like the Miracle, oh man, Entreat the Angels?
Yeah.
Is that one that I want in my deck all the time? Because it's not very good if I don't Miracle it.
Yeah.
The take an extra turn one, sure, an extra turn is fine, but in a deck that isn't dedicated to combo or dedicated to aggro or dedicated to taking extra turns, one extra turn in your 3-color deck that isn't a combo deck might just be like draw an extra card, play an extra land.
Yeah.
And it's only good then if you Miracle it, right? Like, so I don't think Miracle is that good in Commander unless they give us more incentive to play Miracle and or they give us more Miracle cards, and we got both of those with this deck.
Yes, and I think that is fantastic. So I think that this one is the best one.
Okay.
And I'm never going to play any of the shit that's in here, but I'm really happy that, like, 5-color mono White Angel Aaron is definitely going to play this stuff.
Yep.
And so are a bunch of people that are watching and listening right now. And that makes me happy.
Yeah.
'Cause this is the one that people are going to get excited about, and they're going to buy it because they always wanted to do a Miracle thing or they love Enchantress things. And now you can do effing both on one card.
All
and
right,
that's cool.
so Amanatu Veil Piercer, AVP, black, blue, white, 1, 2, 4, human wizard. Last time we saw Amanatu, she was a planeswalker. Now she's just a little girl.
Just a girl with a stick.
Yep. At the beginning of your upkeep, Surveil 2. Already a fine effect.
Sure.
Each enchantment card in your hand has Miracle. Its Miracle cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 4 colorless. And what that means is you may cast a card for its Miracle cost if you drew it and it's the first card you drew this turn.
Yeah.
So how that looks, or what that is okay, you say go, it starts to be my turn. I untap my lands, I pick up my first card in my hand like this, and I go, it's a Miracle card. And I put it on the table and play it for its cheaper Miracle cost. Like, let's say I picked up a Smothering Tithe. I can go draw, don't touch it or shuffle it into my hand. I draw it, and I say Smothering Tithe for its Miracle cost, which in this case would just be white. Which is really good.
That's a pretty good card, right?
Especially because I can get Chaff out of the way and draw that Smothering Tithe with her first ability, Surveil 2.
Yeah.
And I'm in the Surveil colors. I'm in the Scry colors. I'm in the...
You also have white.
I'm in all of the removal and interaction colors. I'm in the top deck manipulation colors. I'm in 2 of the 3 best Enchantress colors.
Yep.
Right? I'm missing green, but black is, I'll take it.
Sure.
Right? This card is a good card.
I had an Azorius deck for a little while that what I wanted to do so badly with it was have it be an enchantment deck that didn't play dudes, because all the enchantments make dudes. And it functioned fine.
Yeah.
But the one issue I always ran into with it was these enchantments all start at 4, 5, 6 mana. And, like, shit, I have no play for the early game. Whereas here, that would totally solve all of my problems.
In this case, you spend 4 mana one time, and then all of your 5 drops cost 1.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good stuff.
You just built a deck like that, right? You just built a Gruul deck that has all the expensive enchantments that start at 5 and 6 mana that do all the crazy stuff that you would expect a 5 and 6 mana enchantment to do.
But they're also 4/4 indestructibles with haste that draw me a card when they hit you.
Yes. So if you take that kind of power level or that kind of altitude of what can 5 and 6 mana enchantments do?
Lots.
Let's just make them cost 1 now.
Yeah.
That's also good.
That's also pretty
right?
okay.
Okay, let's read the other one, because if this one's good and the other one's better, that means this next one is freaking the best one.
No, this one is, I will say, arguably more powerful than Amanatu. I think Amanatu is more fun and interesting.
Yes.
That's what I think. Not as fun and interesting as the Scarecrow guy, but fun and interesting. I like Amanatu more than I like the Master of Keys.
I think Amanatu might be Top 3 favorite.
Sure.
I like that Lord of Pain. And I like Master of Keys the most. Okay. Black, blue, white, X.
Jeez.
For a 3/3 legendary enchantment creature horror. All of that's relevant. Enchantment and creature, and it's a horror. So all the things that care about horrors could go in this deck if you didn't want to make an enchantment deck.
I can't even get it with Toxrill. Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. Flying. When Master of Keys enters, put X+1 counters on it and mill twice X.
Dang.
That's all the words I like.
Yeah.
I like every single one of those words. I mill 2 times X.
What?
Like, what if X is 3, so I pay 6 mana for this, it becomes a 6/6 flyer where I mill 6, right? And each enchantment card in my graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3 other cards from my graveyard. And you can cast the card from your graveyard when you pay its escape cost. This, and you might have heard of it, is an Esper-colored Underworld Breach in your command zone.
Dang.
And anybody who knows the power of Underworld Breach, whether they've lost to it, because you probably have, or beat somebody with it, because you probably have,
Exactly.
knows that this is frickin' good. Because it doesn't go away at end of turn, and it has upside over and above Underworld Breach.
Yeah.
Other than costing more mana than Underworld Breach, it's a trade-off because it's a flying creature that also facilitates the strategy and gives you more colors.
And it looks cool.
And it's got rad art.
Yeah, it's also cool.
I would also want this big card.
Yes.
Very creepy.
Absolutely. That is very neat.
Yeah.
I would like just like that picture of a on a thing
Probably a
in
nice
front.
foil too, hey?
That'd be neat. Yeah, I haven't.
Especially with the enchantment border. Like this enchantment border, the little
all
bit of a different
sparkly.
treatment they do, looks good in foil.
Yeah, it's cool.
This card is frickin' good and is the reason for the booster pack game we played.
Yes.
On the pre-show on Monday, we were hinting at a card that spiked in price, and it's called Second Chance. I own this card.
Me too.
It's from Urza's, what's the one with the hammer? Destiny?
I don't care.
Legacy. Urza's Legacy. Second Chance. Blue, 2, enchantment. During your turn, if you have 5 or less life, sacrifice Second Chance and take an extra turn.
Neat.
So I'm playing black, and I have things like Hatred and Ad Nauseam and Necropotence and anything that lets me pay life to do stuff. Bolus's Citadel. I just put myself to 5. Tutor for my Second Chance, because let's face it, this is the fucking deck.
Yeah.
I put it into play, and I take an extra turn when I sacrifice it because I'm at below 5.
And then you make the joke. Who says you only get 1 second chance? Huh?
I don't know what joke that is. Is that from a movie?
That's the joke. Because you only get 1 second chance, right? You only get 1 chance to make a first impression.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I got a second chance.
get
Well,
it
I'm going
now.
to take a 3rd second chance and a 4th second chance.
So what I do is with all of this cards in my graveyard that I milled because my commander put them there.
Yep.
I exile 3 of them and get the second chance back. So on my extra turn,
Yep.
I can take an extra turn. Right?
Add, rinse, and repeat.
Well, I have to do it before my second turn because this triggers during my upkeep.
Yeah.
So I got to do it before my extra turn. But the point is you can take infinite turns with this in a deck where you're facilitating that strategy because you're milling yourself and you have all the tutors and you have the ways to like limit your life total down to nothing, right? Yeah. And as if it's only black that can do it. What's that legend that where you swap your power, your life total and its power? You put yourself to 4 because it's a 4/4 or whatever.
Is it the Tree of Perdition?
I didn't even think of that one, but we could use that one
Does
too.
that also do it?
That one puts you to 13, I think.
That's not low enough.
Yeah, 13, and then I only get to draw like 8 cards with Necropotence.
Hey, man.
to combo for infinite turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, fuck, woe is me.
Gee.
So I like this one the best. I think it's got obviously like the highest power potential.
Yes.
And the coolest kooky build. Like I called Rebecca into the office last night and was like, look at this stupid card that I've owned since 1998 that I've never done anything with except like use it to keep a table from wobbling. Yeah. And now it's spiked up like doubled in price because it combos with this stupid card here that like I already like doing the things that this wants. Combo, mill, bullshit. And she was like,
What?
Yeah, you're a nerd. I'm just going to.
Yeah, I'm going to leave the room.
Yeah.
Why did you make me come in here?
Yeah. And I had a gay old time. So that's my final thought of the day.
I'm going to tell a story as my final thought
Sure.
of the day. So I cracked a couple of packs over the
You?
weekend. Yeah,
Cracked
me.
packs?
That's insane.
Was it on a BBO?
It was not.
Is it going to be?
No.
Oh.
We are going to have a BBO.
You're supposed to say yes.
No, the BBO is going to be a little bit later this time.
Yes,
Because
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to do it with a box. We talked about it on the pre-show.
Yes,
So
sir.
check that out on Monday where I've got some plans. So if you're waiting for the Duskmourn one, it is coming, but it's going to be a little bit later on in the month of October, a little closer to Halloween.
Sure.
Here's the story. I'm cracking a couple of packs. I open my first room,
Okay.
and I give it to Sam. It's my girlfriend. She's sitting next to me.
Yeah. Very nice lady.
And she looks at it and says, "What do you want me to do with this?" And I says, "What do you think of it?" So it's like, "Why is it sideways?" And I said, "Because that's how they put the cards. That's how they make those." I was like,
Yeah.
"These are stupid and I hate them." And she just threw it down on the couch. And I was like,
Does she know you?
"Yeah, right." It's like, this is why we're together, because we're the same. It's very good.
There you go.
So I like that a lot. So that's my whole thing. I actually, like I said, I'm let down by these commanders. We talked about these two great commanders. The deck itself is fine.
There's a couple great commanders in the precons, and there's certainly a lot of interesting, fun, and cool, kooky
Yeah.
commanders generally in Duskmourn that I'm excited to see and get lists for. So send them into the Discord.
Yeah,
Get on the Patreon if you want to get onto the Discord.
So these commander decks, I would argue, are great for us because they give us some hints and some tools to build new crazy shit.
Yep.
They didn't necessarily do it for us, which is fine.
I like that. I'm totally fine with
I'm
that.
totally cool with a little bit less hand holding, but again, they set a certain bar. They didn't quite reach it this time. But what they made it better with
Give me 40 card precons where they give you half a mana base, half the cards that you need, like the staples that need reprinted, and the new commanders, and make them like $15. And then I can finish them myself. Give me that. Give me
neat.
that with these kinds of decks where it's like, oh, I want some of the new ones. There's a couple good reprints. There's some mega bomb ass Masters of Keys.
Yeah.
And let me get them for cheap. Give me that.
That's a good
that's a good
idea.
one.
I like that. See, we're full of ideas
Bills in the
here.
mail, Watsy.
Make sure you send it. Put my name on there too.
Yeah,
I
I
want
will.
some
I
of
will.
that. I want some of that Watsy money. So
Yeah.
that's it.
That's
Is that it? We're going to be back to talk about deck lists. Keep them coming in. We've got your decks for producer Gary. Those are the Boros decks that he's
Yep.
going to learn to play on. We got a couple of good ones that I think he's really going to like. We've
Yep.
seen a few in the Discord already for decks from Duskmourn.
Jesus.
That was twisted. I must have been talking for too long today.
Yeah.
I think it might be time to go home and play Elden Ring.
Yeah. Check out my ebook if you want to alter cards. Check out fusiongamingonline.com. CCO summer promo code is going to get you a discount on anything you buy at the store.
Yeah, and check out Pile of Bones if you want to drink beer and have a delicious burger and you happen to have the unfortunate situation where you're in Regina.
That's it.
That's the whole thing. And we're going to be back next week to talk decks, cards, and have a whole lot of fun on a very special episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme